Okay, so let us today understand what is wet bulb temperature and dew point temperature also. And before I go into the details of theoretical portion of explanation of wet bulb temperature, let me see if I can write down in my words with no plagiarism at all. Wet bulb temperature is the temperature of air measured by a thermometer, the bulb portion of which is covered with wet cotton wick and air is circulated around it. When the temperature of such thermometer stabilizes, it gives wet bulb temperature of the surrounding air. This means this is a thermometer which is covered with cotton portion and then it is wetted, and then this thermometer is moved in the air with the help of sling psychrometer or any other means, not necessarily sling psychrometer, it can be done in any other means also, and the temperature recorded of that air will be known as wet bulb temperature. So we can have a look at the psychrometry involved in definition of the wet bulb temperature. For that we need to have certain understanding of the psychrometric chart, and I am roughly drawing here the psychrometric chart where the x-axis is representing dry bulb temperature and y-axis is representing omega, which is a specific humidity. The specific humidity is the amount of water vapor content per kilogram of dry air at a certain temperature. So the specific humidity is a measure of amount of water vapor present in air. Now if you see the green line there, this green line, this is representing the amount of heat content of the air, and it is the enthalpy in kilojoules per kg of air. Enthalpy is in kilojoules per kilogram of air which we are talking about. So if we have 1 kilogram of air, a certain value of enthalpy can be read, which is an inclined axis of the psychrometric chart. So how do we use this chart is that we can think about, just a second, we can think about a point A. This point A is any air. Supposing we take a air and then we want to study about it, then we can think about that air in the psychrometric chart, and we will say this air is represented by point A. So the point A is having certain parametric values. For example, the point A is having a certain value of dry bulb temperature, which is extension of the point A in the dotted form, which goes down. So this particular value, which is between 20 to 30 degrees, seems to be 26 degrees centigrade or so. So an air called named as a small a has a dry bulb temperature dBT, which seems to be having a value of 26 to 27 degrees centigrade. Now this is the value of the dry bulb temperature of this air. As we know, if we want to locate a point, we need to have two values. So on measurement of the specific humidity of the air, it is being found that it is supposing having a value of 0.002, or 2, you can take any value. So 0.002 kilogram of a specific humidity is there. Omega, the value of omega A, so this is omega A. What is omega A? Omega A is the specific humidity of air A. So if we have a value of 0.002 kilogram of water vapor per kilogram of dry air, we will now be able to locate the point A. So we will take a temperature of, we have taken the reading of that air temperature. So we will take on the axis whatever its temperature is. So we have taken a value of 26 degrees centigrade here, which we have taken reading, and this reading also we have taken. So if we have these two readings, then we can draw this vertically up, and then we can draw this horizontally down, and then we can reach to the point A. You see? So we take the value of dry bulb temperature, we take the value of omega A, and then we come to a point, and then we can set that particular point as A. So we have one point only if we know two parameters value. Once we have a value of, we have fixed point A, then we will try to understand what are the other parameters which are involved. I'm slightly taking you to other properties of air while I'm coming to the definition of wet bulb temperature. So please don't misunderstand that I'm giving you other informations. It may be useful for some. No, you have to understand few things and then come to a certain definition or derivation or understanding. That is why I am doing like that. Now, if we have a air A, we can change its properties. We can change its property and we can say these changes are as follows. Now, supposing if we have A condition air and we just keep, we don't change its water vapor content and we just cool it down. So if we cool it down, this is the process line, this is the line which it will follow. Its temperature will decrease from 26 degrees, 25, 24, 23, 24, like this. It will go on decreasing its temperature. You are not adding or deleting water vapor, so this is the line that it will be following. In the similar manner, you can also do an experiment in which you take this air and you don't heat it. Don't heat means don't heat the air with the help of heater. Just go on adding water vapor in it. Addition of water vapor is not heating of the air, because the air consists of two portions. The air consists of portion of dry air, as I have explained in my video called dry bulb temperature, and that is the sensible heat of the air. If you listen to that video, then you will be able to understand what I am talking about, if you are not clear then. So air A is consisting of having two parts. One is dry air and another is water vapor. If we add water vapor in air, we are not raising its temperature. We are just raising the content of water vapor in the air. If we are raising the water vapor content in the air, we are actually doing two things. Number one, we are increasing several things. This air will be having a certain relative humidity value if you see it on the chart also. So supposing if it is 40%, supposing there is a 40% relative humidity line. This air, if we go on adding water vapor in content, its water vapor content, you see, omega will change. So this will omega 1, this will omega 2, it will increase. So omega value will go on increasing, water vapor content is increasing, but the dry bulb temperature is still 26 degrees centigrade. Its temperature is not changing. Check the temperature, it will be 26 degrees centigrade. Water vapor doesn't increase the temperature of the air. So if we will understand it later on if you have any confusion. So we can go on adding water vapor, and then the air will not be able to take further of water vapor because it becomes saturated. It will say no, I cannot take further more of water vapor. Now this is the limit up to which I can take for this particular temperature. Okay, if you heat me, maybe my capability can increase. If you heat me here, my capability will go on increasing like this. If you cool me, my capability will decrease of taking the water vapor content. At this particular value of dry bulb temperature, I can take this much. At this value of dry bulb temperature, I can take this much. The moment we go on decreasing the dry bulb temperature, the content of water vapor that it can handle will go on decreasing. You see, at this particular value, it can go up to here. But if you increase the temperature, it can still have more. If you increase the temperature of water, you can add more sugar. So if you decrease the water temperature, you cannot go on adding sugar. The temperature is related to the addition of anything in a substance. So here air can have a certain content of water vapor. This method of increasing the water vapor content is actually leading to what? To the saturation curve. So this saturation curve can be achieved by this method, where we can increase its relative humidity from 40% and go to 100%. So what is point C? Point C is the saturated air, 100% relative humidity air. Its relative humidity is 100%. It's saturated. So that is why this omega S is written. Saturated air for A condition. If I take air here, the saturated condition will be this. If I take air here, the saturation condition may be this. Saturated conditions goes on changing with the position of dry bulb temperature. If this point changes its position, its saturation condition will change. So for this particular air A, the saturation humidity is omega S if we keep the temperature constant. I think it is okay. Now, if this is a saturation curve, then starting from point A, we can go to saturation curve not only by this line, but we can go by this line, this line, this line. There are many ways, many directions in which we can approach and come to saturated condition. But there are certain unique things. For example, AC is unique in the sense that its dry bulb temperature is not changing. AC is unique because it has a limitation that you are not allowed to change the dry bulb temperature. But AE, if you take AE process, you can approach a saturation by even increasing the dry bulb. The dry bulb temperature here at E, the dry bulb temperature is this 30 degrees centigrade. So if we go by AE process, we are not keeping the temperature 26, but we are also allowed to increase the temperature, which is at this case is 30 degrees centigrade. But here, this process is not giving you the saturated value of A. It will be giving you a saturated value for this. So A has got only one saturated condition, which is omega S, which is at C. But this particular E condition is not a saturated value. It is some value where the temperatures have increased. Keeping temperature constant is very necessary if you want to really know what is the omega S of A. Omega S of A will be when the temperature is constant. This particular omega is not related with A, because it is having its own, it is not under any constraint, the temperature is changing. Similarly, we can follow AF. See, the temperature is decreasing. We can follow AB, we can follow AG, AH, AD and AK. There are certain unique things. So one unique was this AC. So AC is a unique process which is going to give you omega S. This is a saturation, it gives you saturated value of, it is a humidification process which is pure without any change in temperature. But now if we talk about AD, AK, AH, AG, AF, AC, AF, AE are not so unique, but there are three unique things. One is AC, which I have told you. Now let us come to AD. What is AD is unique in the sense that it doesn't change its omega value. See, if this is the omega value 0.002, that at this point, its value is not changing. It's not changing. I will show you another figure. Have a look at this. So from that jungle of arrows, I am just giving you a process in which A is changing towards D. And what is the peculiarity? That omega is same. Here also it is omega A, here also it is omega A. Everywhere on this line, omega A, which was 0.002, is same. The value is not changing. So supposing if I am standing in evening outside my house, and if I take a temperature of air and humidity, we get A condition, and there is no rainfall, there is nothing like that, no humidity change of the air outside, and the night falls. When the night is coming, then what will happen is, during the night the temperature decreases because the sun goes away, and when the sun goes away the temperature decreases because now the moon is not so hot. So the temperature of the outside condition, I'm just giving an example. So the temperature of the outside air decreases, whereas the humidity may be set because there is no rainfall, if you assume it, it goes on decreasing. How much is the content? So if you want to decrease this, then it approaches a saturation curve. Beyond saturation curve, there is nothing. There is nothing that you can assume of. You have to be within the saturation curve. Everything is within the saturation curve. So the air has to be within the saturation curve. It cannot go beyond. So if A drops its temperature and comes to a value where now it has got a condition where omega A for this value of temperature, supposing this DD, what is TD? TD is a temperature which is minimum if you want to have omega A. So now if you talk about D point, what is the saturation humidity of D point? The saturation humidity of A point was, take constant value, go up, humidify it, and that was omega S for saturation humidity of A point. You see? Increase the temperature, increase the humidity, come to saturation point. This is the saturation value of A point. If this is 1, then this will be the saturation humidity of 1. What is the saturation humidity of D? Is there, you cannot go up now. So the value of omega D is its own saturated value. It cannot change. This is the, at this particular temperature, this value of humidity is the saturated value also, and the value of the air. So the air, when its temperature outside goes on decreasing in the night, then you can say, or I will confirm, that it leads to a temperature, the temperature at which the humidity itself, omega A, becomes saturated value. Means now it cannot have further decrease in temperature. Now supposing if the temperature still goes on decreasing at night, so supposing if the temperature 20 degrees centigrade has come, now at night it wants to become 15 degrees centigrade. 15 degrees. Then what will happen? The temperature has to go down. So if the temperature has to go down, it cannot decrease its dry bulb temperature. It cannot, this is the dry bulb temperature, it cannot, if it comes to this particular dry bulb temperature, then it doesn't belong to point D. There will be a new point. This point has to come. So D point is no more. We have to be at D. We don't want to leave this D point. So what is the important point of D is, at this particular point, listen carefully. At D point, if you further decrease the enthalpy, this is the enthalpy of D point, this is the enthalpy of A point. So the enthalpy has been decreasing, HA is decreasing and becoming SD because the temperature is decreasing. Whatever is the change in enthalpy is because of change of temperature. It is not because of this particular thing. The change in enthalpy is because of the humidity, and this particular thing. This is the change in enthalpy because of the humidity. This is the change in enthalpy because of the temperature. Don't worry about this portion. We are talking about this process. Only. So if we have already approached a value of enthalpy which the air is, total air is having air and humidity both. Air means water vapor and dry air both. So this air is having a enthalpy which is minimum. Now if you still want to decrease its temperature, means heat is being taken away. If you want to decrease the heat content of air, what will happen is you will have to compromise in the content of water vapor. So if the water vapor can decrease, then only we will say that you can approach this point, because the saturation curve के अंदर में रहना है. So what will happen is a certain amount of water vapor will condense here. This is the point at which the condensation starts from the air outside. तो रात में क्या होगा, जब टेम्परेचर 20 डिग्री से फर्दर घटना शुरू होगा, then what will happen is the water vapor in the air will start condensing, and these water vapor will be falling on the leaves and petals of the flower, which is known as small dews formed. सुबह उठने के बाद if you find flowers having water droplets, then it is very fascinating. So that particular point is the point at which water vapor condenses, and that condensed water is known nothing as less than as dew. What is dew? Dew is the condensed water. Dew is the condensed water which is from the water vapor content of the air because of the drop in temperature. So the enthalpy saturation has already come, and therefore now point at which the temperature decrease causes water vapor to condense and form dew. So this is the minimum temperature which a condition can take, and this particular temperature value is known as dew point temperature. So what is a dew point temperature? Dew point temperature is a temperature achieved for the air when I will be talking about wet bulb temperature. So I am just giving you a picture of how air changes. So dew point is the temperature of the air if the air is allowed or made to decrease its temperature, and the temperature after which, if further temperature is decreased, water vapor will start condensing and form dew. You can repeat what I have said and listen carefully. I am again repeating. If we have air, any air A, you can have A, B, C, D, any air. If we have any air, and if we decrease the temperature of the air, after a certain point, the air will not further decrease its temperature, but there will be a saturated point D which will be approaching, and at this particular point, if we further take away the heat from the air, then the temperature will not decrease, but the water vapor will condense and form condensed water, which is also known as dew. The temperature, so this 20 kilojoule is same from here at this particular point. A is having same enthalpy, this is also having same enthalpy, this is having also same enthalpy. All the points where the process is happening, this process is of what? Where the temperature is decreasing and humidity is increasing. Temperature is decreasing. If you go, this is the temperature decrease and humidity is increasing. So this particular point has got higher humidity and lower temperature. This point has got a temperature and humidity, but this point has got higher humidity but lower temperature. Much higher humidity and much lower temperature. The maximum humidity and lowest possible temperature if you want to keep the enthalpy constant. So what is AB process? Isenthalpic process of air getting adiabatically means no heat transfer. Everything is inside the air. So air is within itself changing its form but not changing its enthalpy content. So if we go ahead with this, then what will happen is that the air will come to a point B where it has got saturated, because see, the saturation was in AC process also, AD process also, but these are different, and AB process, all three are different in sense. The AB is unique in the sense that it is isenthalpic, and it can be said it is adiabatic process where humidification has taken place. So adiabatic humidification process is AB process. AB process is what? Adiabatic humidification, where the temperature is decreasing and the humidity is increasing and a saturated state has come. So C also saturated, D also saturated, now B also saturated. When we come to this particular point B, we see, if you have temperature 10 degree here, 10 degree is also written here in the thermometer chart. If 20 degrees, 20 degree is also written here. If 30 degree, 30 degree is also written here. So if you see, this temperature was 26 degree, but the temperature has come to 20 degree. There has been a decrease of temperature. Decrease of temperature is taking place, and the minimum temperature approached after completion of adiabatic humidification, this particular temperature B is known as wet bulb temperature. What is the wet bulb temperature in that case? What is wet bulb temperature? Wet bulb temperature is the one which is having wet cotton wick surrounding the thermometer of the thermometer, and this wet cotton wick is actually doing what? It is adiabatically saturating the air surrounding the bulb, making it 100% saturated, and when the air gets 100% saturated surrounding the bulb of the thermometer, that particular reading is known as wet bulb temperature, okay, is known as wet bulb temperature. So wet bulb temperature can be understood in another form. Let me explain this to you. Now supposing there is a air called A, and air is having dry air and air is having water vapor. Okay, and we have a room which is having a window here, and the air is coming from outside. Now supposing if it's Delhi, the Delhi temperature is say 46 degrees centigrade, and the relative humidity is say 30%. You see, outside temperature is very, very high. It's very, very hot, and the humidity is is as per the temperature seems to be low, but it's fine. You can survive. What will happen is when it comes here, we have put a desert cooler here. And the water is falling from the desert cooler like this. And the air which is going here is coming in contact with the water vapor, water droplets which are dropping from the desert cooler. So we have air which is coming, and there are water droplets which are falling down. So what will happen is when this air goes here, comes in contact with the water vapor, then what will happen is it has very high temperature. So this high temperature air will now negotiate with the water droplets. And what will happen is it will give away its temperature. It will say, okay, I want to become 40 degrees centigrade. I want to give you delta T as 6 degrees centigrade. Please, water, help me out. So it will, I'm sorry for the language. So the temperature of the air will decrease, and what will happen is this heat content, the enthalpy of the air in the form of heat temperature, will be given to the water droplet which is dropping down. So what will happen is this water droplet will decrease its quantity, and what will happen here, that the air was having omega A humidity, now it will be having omega B humidity, say. So what will happen is there will be an increase in omega. Omega has increased. So what has been there? There has been decrease of temperature, and there has been increase in humidity. You see, when dry air comes in contact with water droplets, it decreases its temperature, and it increases its humidity. So because of the temperature, there is decrease in enthalpy of the air. And because of the humidity, water vapor getting added, there is an increase in humidity of the air. Both ways, heat is getting change its form. The temperature wala heat is getting humidity wala heat. It is changing its form only. So the delta H value here is same as delta H value here. The delta H is same, you see. So when we have a psychrometric chart and we have a temperature and humidity, so if we go from here, its humidity is say H. If we supposing drop its temperature, there is a certain drop of temperature once the air comes in contact with the water droplet. This is the decrease in temperature. Okay, but what has happened? It has gained its humidity. There is an increase in delta omega. There is a decrease in delta T. So delta T decreases and delta omega increases. But amount of enthalpy, so this amount of delta H, which has decreased itself because of the temperature, when the temperature drops, this much amount of enthalpy is gone from the air. But because the water has converted into, from the water droplet has come in form of water vapor now in air, so the air is now carrying more amount of humidity. See, the humidity was here, now the humidity is here. So the humidity is increasing and therefore the enthalpy loss has again been regained back delta H in the form of water vapor. So this process is very minute, small. This process goes on and unless we come to a point B. So what has happened is temperature drops have been compensated with the help of humidity gain. If the temperature drops and humidity gains are same and the delta H value for all these compensations are same, and we reach to a situation called B, which is saturated condition, that particular temperature will be known as wet bulb temperature. Okay, so what I mean to say is that your desert cooler, the desert cooler that we use in our house, जिसको एयर कूलर भी बोलते हैं आप लोग, पानी से भरा रहता है, खस लगा हुआ रहता है, so air which is coming from outside is actually working on the principle of adiabatic saturation. So this process of A to B, where the temperature drops and enthalpy increases, temperature drops and enthalpy increases, is being followed in your house which you have been using, which is a desert cooler. So the desert cooler is actually trying to approach the wet bulb temperature. We don't want to get a saturated air in our room. We usually don't come to here. We only approach up to this. So temperature decreases and humidity increases and we remain here inside the room. And we keep the window open. Because if we go on increasing and we come to 100% saturated air, that will be very harmful for human life. So 100% saturated air is not at all comfortable and good. कहते हैं बहुत हुमस हो गई है. So desert coolers are used with other doors which are kept open. You cannot keep all the windows closed and use a desert cooler. Then you will be having lot of disease and it is harmful to use like that. I hope I have made your concept of wet bulb temperature slightly better than what you used to have, and this can be discussed further if there is another lecture which can be uploaded from me. Thank you for listening, guys. Bye bye, take care.